Welcome all to the Pro Football Radio Podcast. This is your co-host, Jay Chima, with the pride and joy of Merrimack, New Hampshire, Puma. What's up, brother, man? How are you? Podcast 163, NFL Week 4.
Living the dream, dude, and I feel like it's been another bizarro world weekend of the NFL. Jay, if I told you in the offseason, and granted we took an extended offseason break, but if I told you in the year of our Lord 2024 that the Cleveland Browns would be 0-3,
I can buy that.
Cincinnati Bengals would be 0-3,
Cannot buy that.
and the Ravens would be what, 1-2?
I can buy that.
Would you believe me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Besides that Cincinnati Bengals 0-3 one, that's the only one that kind of stands out. But the Cleveland Browns and the clown show that they are, as we call them affectionately here in Columbus, Ohio, the Cleveland Clowns, right? And then when you have a running back as your quarterback in the Baltimore Ravens, then, you know, are we really surprised? Are we really surprised?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Touche. The thing that's blowing my mind is really the Bengals. And I mean, like, I know they always started off historically slow, but man, like that defense, I know they've been dealing with some defensive line issues, but I mean, like, Jalen Daniels was damn near perfect last night. I think he only missed like 2 passes, threw an absolute rope to the captain, not Scary Terry, the captain, Terry McLaurin. Like, what a throw. When I saw that, granted, like, full disclosure, I didn't really have eyes on the whole game just because I was at work. And even more full disclosure, I kind of wanted to see Jey Uso win the Intercontinental Championship on Monday Night Raw. But I did go back and forth, and I did see that play. And all I could think of was, remember that video? It went viral after he left Arizona State and transferred to LSU. And you had all those kids in the Arizona State locker room talking that shit, being like, yeah, we don't need them. Like, yeah. Where are you, Jags, right now? And where's Jalen Daniels? Because, you know, I know it's early, but, like, he looks like the most competent quarterback that the commies or whatever name you want to call them has had in a very, 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 very long time. So he looked fantastic last night.
So let me get this correct. You decided to skip out on Monday Night Football to watch some men run around in some tights and pretend to fight each other.
Dude, it was Jey Uso. That was a match. And funny enough, like, the guy he was fighting, Braun Breaker, I think he's Scott Steiner's kid. But he also played, like, a little bit of professional football and then did some college football too. So, like, that dude is built like a brick shit house. And Jey Uso took it to him. It was a fun match. I know you're not, like, down with WWE, but man, like, ever since Vince left, the product has been so much better, and it's going to be Attitude Era Redux when they actually jump over to Netflix.
Puma, you know why I don't watch the WWE anymore? Because one, they took my boy Vince McMahon and threw him out to the curb. I'm still bummed about that. And secondly, I'm not an 8-year-old child, Puma. Like, at some point you have to grow up, bro. All right. Do you still believe in Santa Claus? Do you still believe in the Tooth Fairy?
No, but I do enjoy people getting hit with steel chairs and put through tables and elbow dropped. So, you know what? To each their own, Jay. To each their own. I will say, it's the one the one athletic thing that Tara is actually enjoying right now. So I will 100% take it.
I don't know what you've done to the poor woman. I have no idea what you've done to her, man. You know? What can I say? All right, let's move on. Thursday Night Football, Puma, in a game that is, I believe, both of us are heavily rooting for the Dallas Cowboys to win this game. We've got the Dallas Cowboys traveling up to the New York metropolitan area to take on the New York Giants. Who you got to win this game, bro?
Yeah, so for this game, I got Dallas here. And maybe this is just what the doctor ordered. I thought they were going to bounce back at home against the Ravens. And they didn't. And the main reason why they didn't bounce back is they just flat out cannot stop the run. King Henry was running all over them. Lamar had a day on the ground too. Like, they can't stop the run, and they can't run the football to save their damn life right now. But I do like them going on the road to the Meadowlands and riding the ship here. Granted, it's a short week, but they're facing a New York Giants defense that, they had a day against the Cleveland Browns, But to me, that was more of the ineptitude of the Cleveland Browns more than anything, because DJ had an interception called back early in the game because of a air quote, roughing the passer, which was comical. I think, he should have had at least 2 other turnovers in that game as well, too. So there was they kind of luck boxed their way to a win, and they left the back door open for Cleveland to come back into the game. But when you look at the metrics of what this Giants defense is doing, they're giving up damn near 70% completion percentage to quarterbacks that they're facing. On average for the yards per attempt, it's, about 7 yards per attempt. So that's, towards the bottom half of the middle of the pack. And they're facing a Cowboys team that is clearly pissed off, that can't run the ball, and Dak is going to air it out. So I like Dak getting right here. I think Zimmer is going to be able to get after Daniel Jones a bit. The spread here, it opened around 4.5 earlier this afternoon. That got steamed up to 5.5. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near a touchdown, but I do think, more money is going to come in on Dallas. So it might pop to 6. It might pop to 6.5. So if you like Dallas, I would try to get it now, because I don't think we're getting back to 4.5 unless some group out in Vegas just smashes the Giants to bet it down. But if you like Dallas, I'd get it now.
Where do the sharps know, huh? What do they know? So listen, I believe both of us are lockstep thinking that the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants, and I think they're going to beat them by a fairly wide margin as well. So I'm not going to spend any time here, kind of, talking about Daniel Jones and how he's on the up and up and coming back now, right? But what I did want to throw out here is, what do you make of this Cowboys team this year? Like, what's the vibes, right? So, like, I'm a really big vibes kind of person, right? It seems like, there's a lot of chirping going around, especially with Micah Parsons in the post game chat, talking about how, nobody's got to be Superman out there and everybody's got to do their own thing. Meanwhile, when you turn on the tape, he's being Superman himself, right? He's the one crashing down and not holding the edge, right? So, what do you feel about the overall vibe of this Dallas Cowboys team?
I mean, normally I'd say the infighting is probably good for team unity, but I mean, you had everybody popping an attitude. I mean, Micah Parsons, which, Micah, like, maybe stop the run, like, because that's the way a lot of teams have been neutralizing you, is making you be a run defender, and they are just running it right at you, and you have not been able to answer the bell. CeeDee Lamb's popping off, saying, throw me the effing ball. Dak Prescott's already saying, if you hop off now. And it's like, I think,
what are you doing?
I think it's like the Cowboys are going to cowboy. Like, I think they are going to be there at the end of the year. I think they're going to make the playoffs. But, I mean, just based on what we're seeing now, and the defense clearly took a step back from Dan Quinn being the defensive coordinator to Mike Zimmer. And, we saw what Mike Zimmer's defense did when he was the head coach of the Vikings. I mean, I still say to this day that Daniel Jones should be cutting a check to Mike Zimmer every time he gets paid, because that defensive performance is why Daniel Jones is getting the contract that he's getting. And you have camps of sycophants saying, pack the bags now. And then you have delusional fans saying Daniel Jones is going to lead us to the promised land. Like, that is why Zimmer should be getting a check. But, I mean, like I said, the defense is clearly taking a step back. I mean, can they right the ship? Maybe that, like I said, this is probably what the doctor ordered. But, brother, if they somehow lay an egg in the Meadowlands, like, I can't wait to listen to Dallas radio the next day or whenever Jerry Jones hops on.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I feel like there's going to be that one team this year that we all think is going to be good. That's just going to have a brutal 5 and 12? 5-12 season, right? And early on, I thought it was going to be the Ravens. Ravens might have steamed that, correcting that ship. I still think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, there's too much talent there to just win 5 games. But I got this sneaky suspicion the Cowboys might be that team, bro, that might just come out of here with 5 wins this year, 6 wins this year, and it's all just gonna kind of crumble on them, right? So, everything that Dak is saying, his contract issues, he seemed like he was chirped, and he had some bent feelings about how that contract situation panned out. Micah Parsons is asking to get paid $35 million a year, which is absolutely
stop
outrageous.
the run, and then maybe we'll talk.
Yeah, to be paid $35 million a year for a guy that's, to be frank with you, just disappeared lately. Like he's nowhere to be found. Like late in seasons, he's not there. I mean, he hasn't made much of an impact this year so far. He's had like one sack in game one. All his metrics put him somewhere in the middle of the pack with all the available rushers that are graded. So like out of the 120 rushers or whatever there are, he's like 60 in most categories, right? So listen, I think the guy truly is. Micah Parsons is one of those guys that will talk the talk, but he won't back the talk, right? So like he won't walk the walk. Essentially, he'll go out there and say all kinds of cliche things, but then he's running his mouth on podcast and not really being that team kind of like leader, right? So listen, I think there's a lot of problems with this Cowboys team, and a lot of it stems from just Micah Parsons and who he is and all his podcasts and all his BS going on.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%.
All right, let's move on to a conversation here that I want to have about the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. And I need to get something off my chest here, Puma.
Yep.
I this Sam Darnold love. This Sam Darnold love like hype train. This Sam Darnold is gonna win the MVP. He leads the league in touchdowns. He's 3-0, and like we're going to the Super Bowl. Like there's just so much ridiculousness going on around the Sam Darnold topic that I just can't seem to make the sense of it, right? So, like to be frank with you, yes, he's had a good 3 game stretch so far, right? But then again, a lot of quarterbacks that are somewhat iffy can have good 3 to 5 game stretches, right? It's like, can you do that for a whole season, right? So, what I see out of Sam Darnold is he's gonna turn to a pumpkin here really soon, right? It's gonna be October here in about a week or so, right? And October 1st comes around, you throw the little fall sweater on, and bam, Sam Darnold's a pumpkin again, right? He's gonna be seeing ghosts. But listen, I more props to him, 3 great games, but like I think we need to kind of pump the brakes on the Sam Darnold love. And because of that, I think going into Green Bay and getting a win there might be hard. Like it might be really hard. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Green Bay Packers to win this game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not buying like the MVP thing. Like that to me is a bridge too far. But I mean, we were talking offline a while ago. Like I thought the NFC North was going to be wide open between the Packers and the Vikings. I really wasn't buying Detroit just getting back and just auto filling it that they're going to make to the playoffs. They probably could as a wild card team, but I think the NFC North is going to be very froggy this year. But look at Sam Darnold. Like he spent last season as the backup in the Kyle Shanahan offense. He started a couple of games when Brock Purdy was out. And then just look at what he's doing now. He's, under that Kyle Shanahan tree with Kevin O'Connell. Everyone thought that the Vikings-Giants game was just going to be a free space for the Giants. And I mean, this defense for the Vikings is fantastic. I mean, say what you want about Brian Flores as a head coach, and believe you me, I had front row seats to that. But seeing what he's doing defensively with the schemes, and they're as aggressive as hell, they're flying around the ball. And, Sam Darnold is like, let me put it to you this way. Is there that much of a difference in the offense from Kirk Cousins to Sam Darnold right now? Like, is he I don't really think so. If you want to make an argument, okay, fine. Like maybe a slight step back or two, but like the difference isn't huge. And he's finally in an offensive scheme. He's not dealing with like a Todd Bowles nonsense when he's with the Jets or anything. So I really like what he's been doing. Now, is he going to have a moment where he's going to come crashing back down to earth? Probably. I don't think he's going to keep up this pace, but I don't think he's going to be the problem that he was when he's with the New York Jets seeing ghosts out there. Like he's got a decent offensive line out there. He's got pass catchers. He's got Aaron Jones in the backfield, which is going to take a whole lot of weight off of everybody. So I think this team is very froggy, very live. So this is going to be a fun matchup. But by the way, like to pivot real quick to Green Bay.
Yeah.
I guess just put the bust of Matt LaFleur in the Hall of Fame at this point, because he's gotten way more out of Malik Willis than anybody, from Hugh Freeze at Liberty to Mike Hardo Vrabel out in Tennessee. Like what he's made, chicken crap out of chicken salad, that's impressive. And maybe Jordan Love comes back this week. I think he was a limited participant in practice yesterday. I don't know what the practice report was today, But I mean, Matt LaFleur, I mean, props to him, because everyone thought that once A-Rod left, like the wheels were going to fall off and he was going to turn into a pumpkin. And Homeboy's got some coaching chops. So like, I really got to tip my cap to him.
Yeah. What's up, Burge? Nice seeing you, brother, man.
Yeah, Burge. That's my dude.
Yeah, and like, listen, I don't understand. I don't know why we do this. Like, and please explain this to me, Puma. Like, we have 7 years worth of data that says Sam Darnold sucks. Okay, like we've seen him bounce around leagues, right? We bounce around on teams, and we know who he is as a quarterback. He's having a 3 game stretch now, right? That is good. I'll give it to you. But like, we're not gonna like throw out 7 years worth of data saying that he was, below average for the most part, to really bad sometimes, right? So I'm just gonna pump my brakes, man. Give me like at least a whole year's worth of like good performances. And I'm not saying you gotta go out there and be an MVP type of player every single week in and week out, but consistently you're above average, right? Consistently you're making enough plays to let your team be in winning positions, right? So give me a year of that, and maybe we'll have a discussion again. But for my money, man, I want to be shocked in the next 2-3 weeks. We've got the old Sam Darnold again, just turning back into a pumpkin. You feel me?
Let me put you this way, and this is probably going to sound like a slight, but whatever, it is what it is. The Baltimore Ravens won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer with a great defense.
That's
Like,
that's
anything
20.
is possible.
No, but like,
Anything.
that's like a different era of NFL football, man. That's in an era when like you played 3 down football, you run the ball, you basically throw. It's just different league right now. Everything is spread out, everything is high flying. I mean,
Fair
yes, scoring
enough,
is down.
but he is
Scoring,
high flying the ball. He is. It's
yeah,
not
no,
like he's check down Charlie. He's pushing it with
yeah,
the guy that I think was dinged up going into last week in Justin Jefferson.
yeah. Yeah, listen, like I said, like 3 game stretch is wonderful, but like, come on, man, like give me a whole year before we start talking about Sam Darnold's back, and everybody was wrong about Sam Darnold for the last 7 years, but now all of a sudden, in 3 games in, my buddy Aaron up there in Minnesota, he's just hardcore buying the Kool-Aid right now. So, Aaron, if
Hey,
you're seeing
well,
this, what's up, brother? Yeah,
Aaron, the Viking fan, longtime friend of the
exactly.
pod. I'm with you, so I'm buying it. Let's go. But
All right,
for the game preview, real
yeah,
quick, I
yeah,
got
go
to
for
pick
it.
a side here.
Mhm.
I mean, betting wise, it's about a 2.5 spread. Even on the road, Jay, like I like this defense that Flores is doing, and I think
Yeah,
he'll be able to do some stuff that if it's Jordan Love, he'll be able to get after him, and if it's Malik Willis, like I think Malik is going to have a very long day at the office.
yeah,
So even on the road in Lambeau, and granted the Packers defense is pretty decent as well too. I like Minnesota with the points. I kind of like the Vikings to win outright. I'm going to look at that
yeah.
more later. That might be a Puma bet later on. But I like Minnesota here on the road.
Nice. All right, let's talk about the MVP frontrunner, Josh Allen, going into Baltimore, take on the Baltimore Ravens. And spoiler alert, Puma, I've got the Buffalo Bills running a train on the Ravens. Like, I think it could get ugly. We're talking 35-17. I truly believe, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think, yes, the Ravens won last week against the Dallas Cowboys, and they looked good doing it. But I still believe, for my money, that this is going to be the year that it all falls apart for the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson is going to be exposed for the running back fraud that he is, masquerading as a quarterback. And I think Josh Allen right now is on an absolute mission. Like, you saw him last night. The numbers are just gaudy right now, right? Now, what is it, like 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions? He's finally figured out that issue with turnovers, right? He's had 1 fumble in game 1, but other than that, fairly clean football. And I like what this offense is doing with the Buffalo Bills. That's Stephon Diggs, moving down to a Houston move was just absolutely wonderful for Josh Allen. And I say this over and over again: the number one wide receiver is a fallacy, in my opinion. I always say, Randy Moss was a Patriots. We didn't win nothing. Tom Brady was better without him. Tyreek Hill left the Chiefs. Chiefs were better without Tyreek Hill, right? And now I think you're seeing it happen again. Josh Allen is going to be much better without Stephon Diggs. And this might be the year that they win the MVP and win the Super Bowl, just because that offense is humming at a different level. They've got answers to every single thing the defense is doing. It's not just one guy. Yeah, now it's like, oh, well, they got James Cook here. You've got Shakir here. You've got Keon Coleman. You've got 10 different wide receivers, 10 different people that caught the ball yesterday. So for my money, man, give me Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm going with the Bills here. I mean, they actually they put on an absolute demolition yesterday of Jacksonville. I thought that was going to be a closer game, but that was just a that was like an instant classic on, quarterbacking, offense, defense, everything. Like everything was firing on all cylinders. I mean, the Ravens have their own problems. I mean, they're allowing about 65% completion percentage to opposing quarterbacks right now. The average, depth per yards per attempt, rather, if I can actually read this damn thing, is about 7.8 yards. So it's kind of in the same category as what the Giants are doing right now. So they have their own issues in the secondary. Josh Allen's been very smart with the ball. We've been banging this drum for a while. Like, the offense is opening up now because he's not force feeding the ball to anybody. Stephon Diggs right now, he's divvying the ball up to all hands on deck. Khalil Shakir is great underneath. James Cook doing things out of the backfield. I like this, this environment for Josh. Big game environment. Probably see these guys in a playoff game down the road. But I like Josh Allen here. The issue with Baltimore is if this game gets out of hand, or if they're down two scores, like that run game, we've seen it before where they get away from the run game super fast and they say, all right, Lamar, throw us into a game. And I hate to be that guy, but Lamar has not answered the bell a whole lot when he's been asked to throw them back into the game. So
right?
Go on.
Because he's a running back masquerading as a quarterback.
Oh, God. I didn't realize Bill Polian was making a guest appearance on the
Am I wrong?
pod.
Am I wrong? Where have I been wrong about Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, and right now the spread's at 2.5 at DraftKings, the official sports book of the Pro Football Radio podcast. But I like Buffalo here. Even on the road, funny enough, they're a road dog, 2.5 points. So yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. And I mean, look at last week. Look at last week. Like, they put on a clinic against Dallas and they let Dallas back into that game.
They almost let Dallas win that game. Yep.
Like, is that like, all right, we're going to let the foot off the gas? Like, is that just getting away from like just beating people into oblivion? I don't know, but you can't do that against Buffalo because they're great on the ground and they're great airing the ball out, and it might be a very long day at the office for that Ravens secondary.
All right, let's get to Pumabets.
Yes.
I always say the segment sweeping the nation. Pumabets is here. Puma, what you got this week, man?
All right, so what I got this week, we'll start off with the NFL, then I'll give you the one college play that I have. I did drop a link in the chat this week. I did mention this exclusive for PFR podcast listeners and subscribers. Hit the link in the chat section here. You get 25% off your first month. Then after that, it's just $8 a month for 2 to 4 plays a day. And now that we're getting into baseball playoffs, the NFL, college, you'll be getting plays posted every day. So it's definitely worth it. You just $8 a month. You're paying that for coffee almost every day. And I'm not specifically talking to you, Jay, but we know some people out there.
I feel like every week
go to Starbucks 2 or 3 times a day.
I feel slighted. I feel attacked.
Well, whatever. So let's start. We'll start with the NFL. Go to Dak Prescott over 35.5 pass attempts. He's cleared this line in 2 out of the 3 games this year. They don't have a run game. It's gotten so bad that they may or may not activate Dalvin Cook to try to get a spark to this run game. Like I said at the top, they're facing a secondary that has been giving up 70% completion percentage, about 7 yards per attempt to opposing quarterbacks as well too. I think they're going to air it out. I don't think they're going to let the foot off the gas. So I like getting 36 or more pass attempts from Dak, because what else is this offense going to do? Then next up, we'll stick with that game. And I locked this in earlier this morning for Dub Club subscribers. The over-under total might have moved. I got this at FanDuel, but I like the over-under 43.5 for the Cowboys-Giants game. I mean, outside of both teams playing a bad Browns team, like these teams really haven't been able to stop anything. Dallas can't stop the run. Again, the Giants can't stop the pass. This seems like a low total for me. So I'll take the 43.5. I think this goes over. And like I said, I don't think Dallas is going to let off the gas because they're going to be exercising some demons against a division opponent. So I like 43.5. Wouldn't be surprised if this total score gets maybe in like 48, maybe or 50, but 43.5, I'll definitely take that at minus 118. And lastly, we're going to head to the Big Ten, Jay.
Let's go.
Illinois did, they did decent on the road against Nebraska last week, and now they're heading to Happy Valley to face Penn State. Now, Penn State's been great, but outside of West Virginia, Penn State really hasn't played anybody on defense, and even Bowling Green gave them a run for their money in the first half, and they didn't even cover that spread. I think that was like a 4-point game against Bowling Green. So now Drew Aller is facing probably one of the best defenses at this point in the season in Illinois. I mean, they shut down Dylan Raiola. Raiola was trying to throw the ball all over the place, looked good. And then when it came to brass tacks time, he looked lost out there. And I think we'll see the same thing from this Illinois defense. I think they'll be able to stand up against Penn State. I think they'll make life uncomfortable for Drew Aller. I mean, Jay, you've seen Drew Aller as an Ohio State fan. I mean, last year, Drew Aller burned me when they went to the shoe. He didn't really look that competent at that position, but now Penn State does have a better offensive coordinator in, I think it's Andy Kotelnicki. I know his last name's Kotelnicki, but the offense looks different. However, I have faith in this Illinois defense, and Luke Altmaier has been spinning the ball like a crazy person at quarterback for the Illinois Fighting Illini. He's top 10 in most passing categories here. Also, transfer from Ole Miss, so gotta love that as well too.
You know about that life, huh?
But he looks more competent, more comfortable in this offense, now being, in his second year in this offense for Illinois. So getting 18, I think at one point this popped to 18.5, but it's down to 18 again on DraftKings. I love getting the points here with Illinois. There may or may not be a chance that Illinois makes it to my Moneyline Sprinkle docket this weekend. So if you subscribe, keep your eye out. I'll put that out on Fridays. But I really like Illinois in the spot in a Big Ten conference matchup. This is going to be a great game. So I'm looking forward to it. I never thought I would say I'm looking forward to an Illinois game.
Illinois football.
But here we are. I mean, he's spinning the ball in Luke Altmaier. He's running the football. He's moving the chains. He's standing in there. He's taking big hits. I mean, he's done great. He hasn't gotten in the way of anything with this team, and this defense has been fantastic. So I'll take all 18 of those points.
You make me very proud, Puma, from a guy that used to not watch any college football at all to watching Illinois football now. Congratulations. You've come full circle. Isn't it a wonderful life? Isn't it beautiful?
It's great. You know what, Jay? I was thinking the other day, like out of college and the NFL. Now, maybe part of this is because I have to work Sundays, so like I don't really get the chance to see all the games. But having games from like 12 noon to like 10:30 at night on a Saturday,
beautiful.
That's pretty friggin' fantastic.
It's beautiful.
I love it.
And like I said, and I always say this, Puma, you've got to experience a college football Saturday in a big college football town. You've got to, at one point in your life, I know you live in Connecticut. I know you East Coast elitists out there love your little.
Oh yeah, I'm such an elitist, Jay.
Water polo and whatever else y'all do on a Sunday. That's on a Saturday.
You know what?
Falls,
You know what? I'm not gonna throw receipts out there on YouTube, but I will say you got some friggin' nerve. That's all I'm gonna say, Jay. That's all I'm gonna say.
We're hardworking Midwest folk out here in Ohio, right? Unlike you East Coast elitists, right? So we watch football on Saturdays. We don't sit around eating our what's that European tea? Those water sandwiches, the water. I don't know.
Hey, how was that lake house? How was that lake house you lived at? That was really that's what. Yeah, you better shut your mouth. You better shut your mouth.
Oh man,
making me sound like an elitist. Yeah. Hard pivot now, Jay. Huh? Hard pivot now.
I bring my lunch pail to work every day.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Before we go, the customary where'd they go? Let me pull up that screen real quick. I like to always look at the schedule real quick and gauge your interest on some college football matchups this week. Let's see. All right, so
Tech Miami, that's going to be a bloodbath. I'd lay the 19.5 points with Miami. Virginia Tech lost to Rutgers at home. And plus, that's another sneak peek if you subscribe to the Dub Club. there may or may not be a play on Rutgers at home against Washington. So keep your eye out for that.
What do you make of your boys this year? I haven't watched much Ole Miss football, and granted, unlike you, I work a lot on Saturdays.
Yeah, I pay for it on Sundays.
But what do you make of Ole Miss? Like, is it just because I haven't seen much of them yet so far?
It's hard to take anything away because they've really played nobody. Like, this is their first conference matchup. My big takeaway is Lane Kiffin's doing everything humanly possible to get Jackson Dart the Heisman Trophy because he's keeping them in games longer. They're airing it out. I mean, they put a beat down on Georgia Southern. They smoked out the other two teams the first 2 weeks. I like Ole Miss here. I don't have the spread in front of me, but it's probably north of 20.
Because isn't it right here? 17.5.
Oh, okay. I need the glasses. I'm getting old, but I mean, it's under 20. I mean, that's fantastic. Kentucky, offensively looks a little limited, and the defense. I just don't really have a whole lot of faith in that Kentucky defense slowing down Jackson Dart.
So Michigan ended up beating USC last week, and I think this Wisconsin USC game is going to be interesting, right? So Wisconsin and Michigan are, in my opinion, one of the same, right? Michigan obviously has just a little bit of higher talent, nothing too crazy in my opinion, right? But the USC factor going into another, going up against another, tough-nosed physical game in the Wisconsin Badgers, I wouldn't be shocked one bit if that 15.5 is something that Wisconsin can cover, right? So I might consider taking Wisconsin there.
The only thing that worries me is the quarterback position because Tyler Van Dyke, I think he's out for the year with the knee injury. It is a travel spot going out to LA, so that should benefit USC. I like USC to win, but I'm kind of with you. Like, I kind of would lean towards the Badgers with the points, but to me, that's just to stay away. I'll watch that game because USC really almost did pull the Undertaker act against Michigan in the Big House.
That was a good game, by the way.
It was good. I was pissed because I had USC minus 4.5, but it was a good football game. But I like USC to win, but I'm not sure if they'll cover.
That was such a good game to watch because that was peak big school playing another big school. The aerial shots were amazing. The whole production of the CBS was just wonderful. The sound, it was a very slick broadcast. The production value was really nice. I just I think with college football, those aerial shots do a lot, man, in my opinion, and I think it was just a good broadcast in general. We've got Oklahoma with the quarterback change. We'll see how that plays out. Texas and Mississippi State. Dude, I am so sick and tired of Ohio State not playing anybody just yet. Like, I want to know what kind of team we are, right? And again, we're gonna probably roll Michigan State, but my biggest fear is that we're gonna get to I don't know, end of the year again against Michigan, and we're gonna get pummeled, right? So we're gonna have that big game against Oregon here soon, right? But so far we have no idea what this Ohio State team is so far.
Yeah, I mean, what it's going to come down real quick to which Aiden Childs is going to show up for Michigan State. Because, I mean, he can be fantastic with the football, or he can be what Tom Fornelli of CBS Sports says in his breakdown of his whoopsie daisy stats of putting the ball in harm's way and giving it to the other team. So which Aiden Childs shows up, nobody knows. I think Ohio State wins on the road, but who knows?
Yeah. And then the game of the week, man, there's been 2 weeks worth of build up for this game. I saw in Columbus, Ohio, banners on the highway for this game 2 weeks ago, right? So it's kind of insane the draw that this is getting so far. But listen, it's going to be a bloodbath in my opinion. It's going to be a tough, hard-nosed game. And give me Alabama at home, bro. For me, I cannot see a situation where Georgia's going to be able to walk into Tuscaloosa and get a win, right? Alabama is just as good as they've ever been. They're tough. They're physical. Killing the board's done a wonderful job so far with those guys. And I'm going to see those boys from Georgia's going to have a hard time walking in there and getting a win, man.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think last I looked, they being Alabama. I
UGA -2 right here. That's what it says.
Yeah, they were 2.5. I'm with you. I like Alabama here. I mean, Jalen Milroe looks like he's taken a step under that Kalen DeBoer offense. The only thing that kind of worries me is the secondary a little bit for Alabama. I mean, they're talented. I think they're just a lot. They're green behind the ear type of deal, just because they're new players in there and turnover and whatnot. But I like Alabama at home.
Cool. Awesome. Anything else you want to hit on before we head out of here, bro?
No, that's it. That's all I got, man.
Let's plug this thing up, brother.
All right. So this episode of the podcast and previous episodes of the Pro Football Radio Podcast can be found on YouTube, Google Podcasts, wherever the hell that is now, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts at. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button on YouTube to get notified when we're going live. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at Brando_Puma. The captain of the ship on the ones and twos is at JChima on the Twitter machine. Be sure to hit us up. The DMs are open. More than happy to talk ball, talk betting, talk whatever. But thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week.
See you guys.
Via con Dios.